Today's episode is brought to you by Security Financial Management.
Ooh, welcome back to Best Advice Podcast, guys. I'm your host, Rob Lovaglio. Here, as always, with Mitch Allen and Dave Allen. We got the father-son duo again, boys. Ooh, what's crack-a-lacky?
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Let's jump right into it today, folks, with some positive energy. We like to call this, give me something good. Dave, give me something good.
Hey, give me something good.
Give me something good. SFM, Security Financial Management, is currently in the running for the 6th Best of Winter Park for financial advisory firms. So
Won the past 5 years?
Yeah, we've won the past 5 years, and we're looking for number 6. So I think Rob has got a link here.
There's
so
a link
if
in
you
the description,
if you like us and you think we're eligible for a 6th year, please vote. Rob's got the link right below. But also, in addition, Rob, what did we do pick up this year?
We've got Orlando Weekly. There was a vote in Orlando Weekly. We got voted best financial firm in Orlando. And this year, actually, we also got best financial firm in Central Florida. Remember that TV show that came in and recorded?
That was cool.
So we've had a hell of a year. Excuse me, heck of a year.
Heck of a year. Heck of a year. Well, that's Give Me Something Good.
That's our Give Me Something Good. All right, let's jump into the question of today. Today's question comes from David from Daytona. David, what you got for us?
You want to say something?
Hey guys, David says, I'm 23 years old, just started my first job with benefits. Please give me a generic overview of what to do with my 401k.
All right, David. Dave, Mitch, take this one over for us, please.
So, Dave, here's the answer to your question a little bit is 401k. If you're working for a private company or a profit company, like let's say you worked for Lockheed Martin or one of those, you're going to have a 401k option. If you work for a school system, government, maybe a hospital, that's a nonprofit organization, that's a 403b. Very, very similar, just different names for ultimately the same effect. Everything there is you put your money away, you tell your HR department when your paycheck how much you want to defer, and they'll take it right out of your paycheck, and it will go in pre-tax. That's probably one of the best benefits that you got. It's going away before. Mitch, what do we call that?
Agreed. I mean, you can't take your 401k lightly. Your 401k and your Social Security are probably your most common person's 2 largest investments in your life. So don't take it lightly. You got to start early. You got to take money from yourself. Got to put it on the other side of a glass wall. You can't procrastinate when it comes to these things because the cost of procrastination is just absolutely massive. So
is this the same vehicle that your employer will match sometimes?
Exactly.
So, yes. So it's kind of free money, really?
It's really the only way to guarantee yourself free money. Mm-hmm. And, you'd have to at least contribute up to your employer match. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Right. Like, for example, if it's really important to find out what your employer's matching. And I'm not saying that's all you put away. Put away as much as you can. But if your employer is matching $1 for dollar up to 4% of your pay, then put away 4%.
At the minimum.
At minimum. Yeah. That way you're going to get all the match that's eligible for you. If you leave your employer, there's something called a vesting schedule that if you leave it before you're through your vesting schedule, you don't get to take all that match with you because most times there's like a 5-year vesting schedule. If you're not here 5 years, if you leave after 1 year, you might get 20% of it for match.
So they can take it away?
Oh, they'll take it back.
Just their match, though. That's not the money that you put in from your own paycheck. That's always immediately vested. That's your money.
So your money's your money, but they're not giving you money so that you can take off tomorrow. They want you to stay. It's a reason to stay.
If you hit that, say it's 5 years, if you hit that 5 years,
you're vested.
Regardless.
If you leave and change jobs or retire, move it to your IRA, it's all yours. Cool. So very important to take advantage of your match. And as Mitch said, 401k is probably for most people the only way they can invest. I mean, there's a lot of people that have investment portfolios beyond their 401k, but average America, it's one of the best ways to save because, as we always say, take it or steal it from yourself. Mm-hmm. If that money gets into your checking account, you might say, I'll invest it later. Well, it gets in your checking account. We all know what happens there.
My boy asked me how much money I make.
The nerve.
The less kids know about money, the less likely they are to rat you out under the pressure of a federal investigation.
Hole in your pocket.
Yeah, it burns a hole right, right in your bridges,
Real
man.
quick.
It goes fast. And if it's not you, it might be somebody else in your family that sees that money sitting in there and they get a hold of it. Yeah. So keep the money away from sticky hands. As Mitch said, it's like, I always say it's like walking up to the window, looking in it. You can see your investments. Turn on, look at your statements, see how you're doing. You can't get in there. You don't want to be able to get in there, but you want to see what it's doing and say, okay, good. You're not to fret over the ups and downs of the market. Just it's long term. Let it do what's going. So probably the most important thing is put away as much as you can where it kind of hurts a little bit. Not so much that it hurts so bad that the rest of your life is sacrificed. But you got to sacrifice a little bit with savings, just like anything else. I compare it to a workout. On January 1, you said you're going to work out. All right? Everybody's got that new year, new me. They always say, I'm going to hit the gym every single day, and I'm going to hit it hard. They go in for about the first 3 days, work so hard, and they're so sore that they're like, screw this.
True, yeah.
I quit working out. The best thing is to start, work in, walk before you run. Then you're going to start to see the successes just like you do in the gym. All right, hey, wait a minute. I got maybe one ab showing now.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't had a carb since 2004.
I'm supposed to have 6. Yeah, I'm still looking for my ab.
I haven't seen that since high school. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I got lost track of that one. So you saw that first ab. Wait a minute, man, I need to go for 2.
Yeah.
And so the second one shows up, and guess what? Then you start getting fired up, and the same goes with investing. Once you start to see that balance building, and it starts out a little slow, doesn't feel like it, then once you get a balance in there, the market, with good markets over the long term, 70% of the time the market's up, you're going to start to see that balance growing. So your money starts making money in addition to what you're putting away. So that's really important, is to
kind of start snowballing.
Proper investment allocation. Let's talk a little bit about what the default under most plans are.
Yeah, so when most people enroll in a 401k, 403b, 401a, or whatever retirement plan, generally they're pushed into what's called a target date fund. Which is generally, it's managed to get more conservative the closer you get to 65. So if you're set to turn 65 in 2030, you'll probably be in a 2030 retirement date fund. And what that'll look like, when you're in 2030, it'll probably be somewhere around a 50-50 allocation, stocks to bonds or so. So not overly conservative, but definitely not overly aggressive, kind of in the mindset of, protect what you built all these years. So target date funds are not a bad investment. What it'll do for you is it'll give you a one-ticket drop to just have it managed for you. One thing that we like to do is we like to look at all the investment options available and see if we can build a custom portfolio that fits your goals and risk tolerance a little bit better than maybe a target date fund could. So me personally, I have a pretty high risk tolerance. I don't own really any bonds. I didn't allocate to a target date fund. So I created my own custom portfolio with what Schwab gave us. So, I was able to put together.
You can take your 401k and kind of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. They give you a list of investments. Yeah. There's a large cap growth, a large cap value, mid cap, small cap.
You personally
bonds.
went in there because
Yeah.
And most people really aren't. Most people aren't going in there and picking their own stocks on these funds, are they? I mean, you're a certified financial planner, so you obviously do, because that's what you do for a living, so you know exactly what you want.
The big man on campus, the go-to guy.
Yeah. So
when we meet with our clients, one of their biggest investments is their 401k, and if they're still working, we ask them, when we're looking to do a full analysis, send us a list, send us what you're in, or show us what you're in, and then show us all your available choices. And then what we'll do is we'll study it for it. We'll understand your risk tolerance. And that's very important to make sure, for the longevity of your portfolio, is to make sure you're investing within your risk level. That can your tummy take if a market up and down. Secondly, it's probably very important not to time that market, not try to be markets dipping a little bit. Okay, I'm going to move to cash. That's a disaster in a 401k, because you're contributing. When you're adding in time in, week out, weekend, you're catching the ups and downs, and you're buying through there. So the most successful portfolios on a long term is one who does not try to time the market.
One of the podcasts you discussed about like the percentages when you try to time the market versus not trying to time the market, like when you sit and let it grow, like it was mind-boggling.
It's huge. If you miss the best days in the market, I mean, there might be 8 or 10 real days, and if you miss those, you're going to miss the majority of the returns in a given year. I mean, think about last year. The majority of the performance came from November 1 through December 31st. I mean, it might have been, I'm not exactly sure, but I just know by November 1, many people didn't have much return, and then a bunch of the return came in end of the end of the year.
Yeah.
So if you decided, hey, I'm going to get out of the market because October can be a bad month, well, you got out, and then November 1 takes off, and you're like seeing, okay, November 1's good,
You
November
throw it in
2's
there.
good. All right, now, it's end of November, I better get in. Well, you missed an entirely good month, which made up for any downs throughout the year. So it's very important not to try to time it. I'd also say it's important on your 401k to create a rebalance. Many of them have an auto rebalance in there that will rebalance back to your mix. And you can set it up on most. You can put it on autopilot to say that rebalance every 6 months. It'll automatically rebalance back to your pro rata percentages. But
And they have that automatically for people who aren't certified financial planners or CFPs. They have someone in that.
No, they
fund
don't have
who-
it. It's an automatic feature.
Okay.
If
It's automated.
under most plans, if you want advice, you're going to, and you don't have an advisor, you're going to probably just live in the target date funds, or the ones that do it, them do it for you, and they'll be rebalancing within the target date fund. But on your own allocation, if you got with somebody like us and we said, put X into this one, percentage down to the various mix, you want to keep that percentage. If 20% is large cap growth and it's grown, or you want to rebalance it back to that. And you can set there's normally a setting on the Fidelity or Vanguard or whatever that you want to rebalance back to your allocation every 6 months or once a quarter. And it'll automatically do it for you. It's machine driven, not a person back there monitoring, but that will just be an auto rebalance. But for those that have an advisor that will do it, it's worth having them look at it, look at the target date. In certain cases, sometimes your target might be your best option. But if you have an advisor, have them look at your allocation, have them review your risk personality, have them.
Is that something you guys do when your clients come in? They have an investment portfolio
Absolutely.
and then their 401k, and you guys are picking those.
Oh, it's
how
a
that's
huge part of your
allocated?
portfolio.
Yeah.
It's a huge part.
A lot of times it's the biggest piece of the portfolio.
And you guys go into that 401k and allocate that appropriately.
We give advice on it,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
We'll look at what you have. We'll make suggestions and say, okay, you're invested this way right now. We've reviewed it. We've reviewed your risk personality. We've watched how, when your date you plan to retire. We look at the whole scenario and then create an allocation within your choices that are available. Some of these plans don't have a lot of choices. A lot of employers have really kind of forced you into the target date funds for liability reasons. So some of them don't have a huge amount of choices, and sometimes your best choice is the target date fund or the one that they've designed for you. One thing that's also we find with people change jobs. They start working with one company and they get lured away to another company or change careers. A lot of times you have 3, 4 old 401ks sitting at your old jobs. You have a couple choices. You can take that, and if there's a bunch of smaller ones, you might want to just either line them up and move them right into your new 401k. You can move in and make life simple and move it all there. Or if you have an individual retirement account, we would get on the phone with you with your 401k company and tell them how to have the fund check written to your IRA so it goes pre-tax, stays in the same tax status, and then gets invested accordingly. So a lot of people have a lot of shrapnel behind them from old jobs, and it's easy. It's an easy process to either add it to your 401k. It simplifies your life. You don't have statements flying all over. It also makes, if something were to happen to you, unfortunately, if you were to pass away, your family doesn't have to go chase 401ks all over the place. So it making life a little bit easier. And then a lot of people will, if they retire or have other jobs from previous 401ks from other jobs, they can move it into the individual account, and they might be able to do something that's a little bit different in their portfolio that they do not have available within their 401k. So that's something.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah,
and
a
this
lot
is
of
why
moving
you need a financial professional looking over this for you guys.
Right.
If you do want to have a conversation with Mitch or Dave, please give us a call or click the link below, and you can schedule right with the link in the description. All right, David. I hope that helps. Remember, folks, the secret to wealth is not what you earn, it's what you keep. Happy days, everybody.
This podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only and is not intended as personal financial advice. Before making any financial decision, please do your own research and consult a financial advisor as needed. If you have a question for the guys, email podcast@bestadvicepodcastguys.com.